everyone, and welcome to KYE Interactive, or Know Your Entrepreneur as we all know it. I am your host, Trupta Kolbert-Nadkarni. On this digital platform, we've spoken to entrepreneurs from so many different fields. They all have so much experience, and we can't wait to find out their experience. So my guest today is Ravindra Dhande. He's the founder of Digital Workstation, which is a web design studio that is located in the heart of Mumbai in Mulund. Ravindra has a rich experience of 23 years where, he's helped more than 2,200 businesses go online. And that is very, very amazing. We're going to find out more from him. So basically, Digital Workstation is into web design and development, as well as digital marketing. And the core or the main focus of this business is into e-commerce, website development for SMEs, retailers, manufacturers, and more. So let's find out more. Hello, Ravindra, and welcome to the KYE platform. How are you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, fine, Trupta. It was a nice introduction. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure. So please tell us, 23 years, such a long time. How did this entrepreneurial journey start? How did it all come about? And why did you want to go down this path?
See, Trupta, basically, it all started from childhood. So basically, from childhood, since my dad was running his own shop, so we had a shop of wristwatches, Usha fans, sewing machines, Philips tape recorders, radios. So that was that age of radios and sewing machines and wristwatches and all those things.
Right.
From early age time in school days, I was very fond of electronics. So I used to buy Electronics for You magazine was there. So I used to buy that. And there was circuits designs were there, circuit ideas. So I used to create the PCBs. I used to create those electronic gadgets, small.
Yeah.
Just to play around with it. That was a hobby, basically. You can call it as a hobby. But then that hobby changed into slightly like we created that clap switches. Like I created that FM microphone, which like I was able to sell it to people like friends in Ganesh Utsav and all those things. So that is how little bit of earning, but that was not a business kind of thing. But that was, I can say, that was the starting point. So, and then after 10th and after 12th, I did my diploma in electronics and radio engineering, luckily in electronics itself, and got a job in HCLHP. So that was, I got a very good start in a good company, good exposure I got. And from there, it all started. The growth started. Then later on I joined Aptech, and then I started my own company, Digital Workstation. And till date, I am into this.
Wow.
So, like you have already said, we have already served 2,300 clients in last 2,200 clients in last 23 years.
Right.
So it is really it's a big journey.
Of course.
But it was very interesting. Yeah.
I can imagine, and all those absolutely those days of working around, like when you said when you were little, just being very curious about what exactly is happening and then selling it to your friend. That was indeed a very good starting point, I would think. From there to this, it's quite a journey. Please tell us your motivation behind becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it all basically it started from my first job at CLHP, and it was run by Mr. Shiv Nadar. And from there, I learned to work with corporates, and Mr. Shiv Nadar was my first inspiration. Motivation factor first. Then after that, second job was Aptech Limited, which was started by Mr. Atul Nishar.
Okay.
So Atul Nishar was into computer education, and Mr. Shiv Nadar was into computer hardware. And I was so lucky enough, like first job was at CLHP in computer hardware, so I was able to learn computer hardware part of it.
Right.
And my second job was Aptech Limited into computer education. So both fields I worked for, I was able to work, and I learned how businesses they have grown, and they had an interest like to help others to grow, like get computers into India.
Right.
And that was the early stages that time, and that felt like I should also be into this field. I should have my own business. So that was my motivation in becoming an entrepreneur that time, and that is how I started Digital Workstation and VRD Computers.
Okay, so I must say that is very motivational, and you got such good mentors, to guide you and to help you on the path towards becoming an entrepreneur. So what is it about this field or, this venture, this journey that gives you a sense of accomplishment or satisfaction, or, you can say kick mantat na jala, you're doing the right thing. So what is it about this field?
See, after in the whole journey, like once I started into web designing and development and this, so it gave me lots of freedom, basically. And I was in the right place in the right time. So when web started, like web was developed. At that time itself, I was in the right place at the right time. And then that helped me to grow into this. The best part was in those days, Reliance came in and we got connectivity through mobile, which helped in flexibility in moving around and doing the work. So the best was like there was no restriction, like office restriction at such, sitting in one place and working at such. So that helped me to travel also and do other things also what I wanted, and plus I was able to run my business also. So that was the best part of this business model.
Absolutely, you were not restricted to one place. This name is very crisp and very nice. So did you come up with it, or like did you have anybody, help you with this name, Digital Workstation?
No, it was like when I started this, first company was not Digital Workstation. I started with VRD Computers first. So with my wife's name, Vaishali Ravindra Dhande, and computers. When I was working with Aptech Limited, at that time itself, I had started my first business, VRD Computers, in computer hardware and sales and service. And later on, once I joined Aptech and I came into animation, graphics and this, then I started Digital Workstation. So both companies were together. So Digital Workstation came up like, since it was multimedia, graphics, animation, we wanted to give some name. And in those times, workstations like computer graphics workstations and this. So I said like Digital Workstation is a good name we should have. So I started Digital Workstation, and the website which we wanted was very short. We did not want to use digitalworkstation.com. So I converted it into short form like DWSWORKS.com.
Right. Very nice and crisp. That's why it has a nice ring to it. So when you started out, it's been so many years. Did you face any challenges, any barriers, any obstacles? And if yes, how did you get past them to be where you are today?
See, definitely any business you start, anything you do, your life is not constant same. You will always have ups and downs. So definitely I also faced lots of barriers, like lots of obstacles. The first was like after my first job, HP. I was like just working into the same field, computers, hardware. So it was not a very creative field. So I wanted to change into a creative field. And that time there was a cheap magazine used to come, and I used to buy that. And that used to have a CD in which there was a demo of 3D Studio Max animation. So I wanted to learn that. And to learn that, I resigned from my job and I went to search for an institute where I can learn this. And then I go into this particular, I choose this career, animation. But first hurdle was there was no institute anywhere in India. I went to Hyderabad, Zaika's, the Institute of Creative Arts. I went to Delhi. In Mumbai, I searched from Andheri to everywhere I searched. There was no institute teaching 3D Studio Max, which was a Windows-based version of 3D Studio. Everybody was teaching DOS-based. Those days, Windows was also very new. So nobody was teaching. So that was the first obstacle. But then I decided, I want to do it. So after resigning, 1 year gap I took, and I purchased a computer and the software and everything. And the worst part was, second hurdle was, this software did not come with any help file. There was no YouTube in those days for your help. You cannot search. You cannot go onto YouTube and just see some tutorials and then you can learn. No guru, no tutorial, nothing. So you need to learn everything on your own. So I started creating objects, mobile phone or whatever it is there. So I started creating it, giving materials, rendering those things, and practiced it. For 1 year I did that. So that was the first obstacle. And second came like after I started my business, like after Aptech Limited. 2 years I worked with Aptech, and after Aptech, like company wanted to expand, so I took franchisee of Aptech itself for Arena Multimedia. They wanted to grow beyond Thane region.
Okay.
So Dombili, Kalyan. So Dombili, I took a franchisee. I purchased my own office. Within 3 months, my center was also inaugurated. Under the digital workstation was the franchisee of Aptech Limited,
Okay.
and Arena Multimedia was the franchise.
Okay.
And I started in '99, and the worst part, the obstacle which was there was waiting for me. In 2000, of course, we did in 9 months we did a turnover of 1 CR, but in we were hit by Y2K. So Y2K was the worst thing which happened in those days. And after Y2K, 9/11 happened in US.
Oh my
So
God.
everybody, like, it was a downtime for IT industry.
Right.
So from 2000 to 2003, IT giants, like you can call big giant companies, Aptech, NITs, lots of Boston was there in Mumbai. Many institutes were there, and they had to close down. But luckily, we were not among them because we were into graphics, animation, and that. So we
Right.
survived.
Okay, thank God.
So that was the second obstacle.
Yeah.
And then came the third obstacle. Dombili I chose as a franchisee, and beyond Thane, after 2004, 2005, load shedding started. That was the third obstacle.
My God, and
So
that.
eight.
Yeah.
So you have 30, 40 computers, you have staff, you have students, institute is running. We have a development team also where we are doing graphic work, corporate videos and all those things, presentation. And you don't have power for 8 hours every day. So you cannot work. So I stopped my office. I closed it down for 1 year. I waited for 1 year, but no one was there. Government was like not keen to solve this problem.
Right.
So many businesses faced problem.
Right.
I was also among with them. So okay, it happened.
Yeah,
But then since I had the property, I had owned the office, so I rented it out. And luckily, internet was booming at that time. YouTube came in, freelancing business started, and that is how from office I converted into home-based business with freelancers. And till date, in last 15 years, we are working in that. That was a very good part. See, the hurdles were there, obstacles were there, but the best part was I started from home, overheads reduced. In a freelance model, we started working. My staff was working from their residence. They were also comfortable. They don't have to travel everything. So those days, people used to feel like ये लोग घर से काम कर रहे हैं, office में नहीं कर रहे, तो not good enough. Freelancers were not. That was not a good model. But today, after COVID, people learned a lesson that yes, this is the way to do.
Right.
And many companies, big companies, are also shifting to a work from home model now.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, it all worked out really well because it's quite
But because of the obstacles for last 15 years back itself, we have got to learn what people learned in last 2 years.
Exactly. We learned a lot in the last 2 years, but I must say it's quite a story, Ravindra, after facing so many obstacles and hurdles, getting over them to be where you are today. I think it's really amazing. So, Ravindra, I wanted to ask you, where do you see this venture in the future? Like, what are your business goals, or you can say aspirations, with regards to DWSWORKS?
See, basically, I have not planned to grow it exponentially as such, exponentially. So what I want is stability. For last 15 years, what we have been doing is consistent performance, like getting the business and running it. So this is a good model, work from home, balanced life with family, and I can like other hobbies also. I have other things also I am into, like agriculture and other things. So I'm able to give time to that also.
Okay.
So yeah, so I am doing Subhash Parekar's natural farming also. All over India, I am attending the seminars and like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, everywhere. Now I'll be buying a new land near Mumbai itself. So always is doing farming also, and from there itself the business will also run. So it should be stable. Both things should be there, and you should always have parallel two businesses. Always, you should not rely on one business because future you do not know how it will be. So farming is one of the important things what I feel for organic food, and that was the like I like to do farming from earlier stage, but I was not able to do it earlier. But now I'll be doing it. So, but then because of this model, it is easier to do both things and have a balance and get the business also done as well as this also. But that is the plan actually. The next 5 years, like have my farm also, plus the business is also going stable. This thing, not to grow exponentially. I don't have that kind of a plan. So this is good business. Earning is good. So no issues about that.
Absolutely. And you want to, strike a balance, which is, wonderful. And like you said, always have two things that can, go in parallel with each other.
Yes.
So, ever since you started till now, do you think this venture has changed you in any way? Has it brought about any changes in you?
Yes, of course, because early when I started, like I was running behind the business in a very different way. Like it was expansion mode. And I started Dombili, then I started Mulund, then I was about to start other franchises also. So good plans were there, having animation studio of own and everything. But life teaches you lessons. All hurdles came, and then you think of having stability and consistency, and then that is how I came into this phase of online model, freelance model, working from home kind of thing. And this is how it has been, and it has changed a lot in my life because now I have lots of time for myself to learn more things, to spend time with family, friends, networking. I've joined BNI, so it is a wonderful thing, building relationships with many other business people. So it is good. So I'm able to spend time for all these things.
Right. After so many years, that's what you want, right? At the end of the day, come and spend time and give time to people who really need it. At the same time, working, so striking a balance, like you said.
Right.
Definitely. So, lastly, what advice or, some words of wisdom if you would like to share for the upcoming or budding entrepreneurs? Because, the ideas are there, they're swirling in their head, but, how to go about it, how to take the first step, where to start, So can you share something, some words for them?
See, for business, new startups, basically, so whatever field you have chosen, you should work behind it. And it is not like what I have done, you should work into same model. Of course, expansion is required, but I have chosen this path. You don't have to. But the obstacles, whatever I have faced, because of that, I have chosen this model. But you should always expect the unexpected, because anything can happen what you have not planned. So you should plan for the worst things in your business. So what can go wrong in your business, you should think about that from day one and get planned yourself so that whenever it hits you, it should not get you down totally out of the business. So you should survive that phase. So that is very important. And listen to your instincts, like whenever you see in business, decisions need to be done by you in a proper this thing. So believe in yourself and keep upgrading yourself, learning. There's lots of learning to be done. Always you upgrade yourself. That is how you will stay ahead. So that is there. And yes, most important thing today for youngsters, because see, nobody is going to just accept you into a new district. So you should build your network, relationship. So there are lots of network organizations like BNI is there. Lots of other things are there. So you should join those networks early days, like when you are young in the new startups. So you get exposure to many people in India and abroad. So you can work in that fashion. So relationships, networking is very important.
Absolutely.
So you should do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So these are the 2-3 things you should always be prepared for, and that is how you should do. Absolutely. Which will help all entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And that is some very sound advice. And also, especially expect the unexpected, because you have to be ready for anything and everything that comes your way because you're starting out. So I think that is some very good advice. So thank you so much, Ravindra.
Because, yeah.
No, go ahead. Please finish.
Because see, Y2K was not in my hand. Lockdown was not in my hand.
Correct.
So other things. So these things you should be prepared.
Absolutely.
So that is it. And in future also, artificial intelligence is going to come now. So web designing also, you cannot say it is going to remain stable. So we should be prepared for that also.
Absolutely.
So that is what is the advice. Yeah.
Because that's the only thing constant, right? Change. It's always changing.
Yes. You need to change with that.
Right. You just have to go with it and take it in your stride. So, but that is some definitely very good advice and something that our viewers will appreciate a lot. And thank you so much, Ravindra, for coming on the KYE platform and speaking with us and sharing with us, what you feel and giving some really good advice. And we wish DWSWORKS all the very best for the future. And it was very nice speaking with you. Thank you so much.